Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jessica Passione, the Executive Director of the Burlington Downtown Corporation. Thank you for joining me. It's exciting to see how much interest there is in the BDC's grant programs. We're proud to announce the rollout of a refreshed downtown grant programs, and for those of you who have to leave early this evening, or for our neighbors who are unable to attend either of these nuts and bolts information sessions, a video of the presentation will be distributed via email and uploaded to the BDC website by the end of this week. Tonight, we're going to cover quite a bit of information. I apologize in advance for the information overload, but you're going to learn about the updates to the downtown grant programs, our new pre-application requirements, the new grant application and review process, as well as our post-award requirements that have changed slightly. These have all been established by the BDC's grant committee and blessed by our full board of directors. The BDC currently offers two different grant programs, the Downtown Facade Improvement Grant and our Downtown Small Grant Program. I'll dive into the details about the Downtown Facade Improvement Grant Program first and quickly cover the program's goals, eligibility requirements, awarding amounts, and grant cycle for the program. So the program goals might seem superficial, but honestly, when it comes to doing business, beauty and profit start on the outside. And that's what we had in mind when we developed this Facade Improvement Grant Program. First impressions really count, and what your customers, and more importantly, what your potential customers see when they look at your business from the street can make or break your relationship with them. But with the expenses associated with any growing type of enterprise in today's marketplace, we really know that affordability is very difficult when it comes to keeping up a beautiful outside appearance. So hopefully with the help from the BDC, you can improve your facade and help attract and encourage new customers to step in your front door. So this facade improvement grant was created to encourage private investment through the renovation of facades in downtown Burlington, primarily to encourage good design and to preserve the architectural character that's unique to our downtown. As the case with any happenings and doings that the BDC offers, there are eligibility requirements, and those center around the Municipal Service District. The map here shows the MSD boundaries, and this is really the parameter for eligibility of both of our grant programs. So any business or property owner located within the MSD is eligible to apply for either the BDC Small Grant Program or this Facade Improvement Program. I've passed out the program's flyers to those of you in attendance, and you can also download it from the BDC's website by visiting burlingtondowntown.com/grants. The Facade Improvement Award Amounts offers financial assistance to business and property owners who wish to make physical improvements to the exterior of a building. If the BDC Grant Committee and the full Board of Directors approve a Facade Improvement Grant request, the award amount is 50% of approved project costs, up to $2,000. Also, awards are granted based on availability of funding, so please submit your applications as soon as you can. We get new grant dollars at the beginning of each fiscal year. The granting cycle for this particular program is more frequent than for our small grant program. In fact, applications are accepted on a rolling basis, and funds will be awarded to projects upon review and recommendation of the BDC's grant committee, like I said before, while funding is available. To apply for the Facade Improvement Grant, all you need to do is visit burlingtondowntown.com/grants, and you'll be directed to the appropriate online application in the BDC's grant portal. The second grant program that the BDC offers is the Downtown Small Grant Program. I'm going to cover again the program's goals, the new review and scoring process, eligibility requirements, the two grant types within this program, and finally the updated granting cycles. The Small Grants Program focuses on stimulating the development of the MSD through the priorities identified in the BDC's plan of work for the 2018-19 fiscal year. Those include innovative businesses, residential, retail, service sector, restaurant, and other uses identified in market analyses and by the BDC as desirable to the future of downtown success. Also, facilitating the sustainability and strengthening of both new and existing businesses, as well as facilitating the rehabilitation and modernization of downtown buildings into 21st century business locations while remaining sensitive to historic preservation, are the three main goals of this program. Last year, the BDC established a grant committee and charged it with reviewing the overall program annually, as well as taking on the responsibility for reviewing and recommending which projects to fund. The committee developed a consistent reviewing and scoring process that allows the group to align scoring criteria directly with the BDC's priorities and plan of work for each year. You can see here that this year's scoring criteria includes 7 areas of focus, each given its own weight towards the application's overall score. It's also important to note that only applications receiving a minimum score of 70 will be considered for funding. Applicants whose projects scored below a 70 will have the chance to meet with BDC staff to identify where there's an opportunity to strengthen the project, should the applicant wish to revise and resubmit for second consideration. If you'd like complete description on the different criteria, please reference your grant program overview handout that I've given you earlier in the evening. Again, the eligibility requirements for this grant program are the same as those for the facade improvement grant. However, preference will be given to property owners in regards to scoring project proposals versus just business owners. Within this small downtown grant program, there are 2 granting categories. There are funding opportunities for property development as well as for business development projects. Both property development and business development awards require a 50-50 match of funds. The downtown small grants are essentially forgivable loans. The terms of the grant agreement require that grant recipients and project work remain in the MSD for at least 3 years. After the 3-year deferred term has been satisfied, the forgivable loan converts to a grant and the award recipient is no longer obligated to the BDC. Within the property development grant types, an applicant can apply for either a building rehabilitation and modernization program or a residential development incentive program. I'm going to focus on the building rehab and modernization grant type first. The goal of this grant is to encourage the sensitive and appropriate rehabilitation of buildings within Burlington's historic core, such that they not only contribute to an attractive, quality shopping and business district, but also meet the business and living needs of the 21st century. It is a deferred loan program, as I mentioned before, for improvements to downtown buildings and does a 50-50 match program up to $25,000 per building. As I mentioned before, for businesses that stay 3 years, the loan becomes an interest-free grant. For businesses that leave before the 3 years, a prorated loan amount must be repaid. The 3-year period starts from the date the grant is made. Grant activities under this grant type can fall within the following categories: exterior facade rehabilitation, signage grant, an interior grant for rehabilitation and modernization of the interiors of the building. The second property development grant award is the Residential Development Incentive Program. This award assists with the development of quality residential uses in the upper levels of the buildings that reside within the MSD. This program will be made available to developers of market rate residential units, both for sale and rental projects will be eligible. Both sale and rental projects will be eligible. The proposed program offers a per square foot subsidy for eligible projects with a proposed maximum grant amount of $5,000 per unit. Any property owner of a building within the downtown MSD may apply for Downtown Residential Incentive Program, subject to the following. The grant portion of the project must be for the interior renovation of an existing building only. The proposed project must meet all applicable zoning requirements. All required permits, i.e. zoning, building, etc., must have been obtained, and the proposed project must follow the Secretary of Interior standards for renovation of historic structures. Examples of eligible projects include rental or apartment housing, condominium development or for sale housing, and hotel development. The grant program overview that I passed out earlier includes all of these details for your reference. The second type of project within this grant program funds projects for business development. In this category, the only eligible funding is the Business Upfit Grant. The goal of this grant program is to facilitate the development of new and expanded business enterprises in the downtown area, consistent again with the recommendations of the 2008 Burlington Downtown Master Plan. The master plan identified opportunities for downtown Burlington in the areas of full-service dining, specialty clothing, home furnishings, office and gifts, and food-related retailers such as coffee shops, ice cream shops, chocolate shops, wine shops, bakeries, and candy shops. Businesses within these categories will be given priority. However, other businesses that the BDC feels will add to the business mix will also be considered for funding. These would include such businesses as arts-related retailers like galleries, photography studios, pottery and crafts, health and fitness-related businesses, as well as professional offices and professional services businesses. This grant award is also structured as a deferred loan for business upfit to help ease startup costs. Again, for businesses that stay 3 years, the loan becomes an interest-free grant. For businesses that leave before the 3 years, a prorated loan amount must be repaid. The loan process can be used for building The loan proceeds can be used for building upfit, including demolition, painting, finishing, carpentry, and flooring. It is also, like the others, a 50-50 matching program. A change from years past is the implementation of a new grant cycle schedule. The BDC's small grant program is now administered on a quarterly basis. Applications will open approximately 1 month prior to each quarter's application due date. Additionally, applicants are required to attend a nuts and bolts information session prior to applying for funding. Typically, 2 sessions are held roughly 5 weeks prior to the application due date, as well as a lovely video presentation will be available online for those unable to attend. The chart here indicates important pre-award dates. As always, email reminders will be circulated to the MSD neighborhood. Additionally, the BDC has published its calendar available online, which identifies key dates and programming offered by us. Please visit burlingtondowntown.com/BDC-calendar to stay up to date on all the offerings of the BDC. We will also advertise info session dates when grants are open, application due dates, etc. on Facebook and other social media avenues. The application process was another big change to the grant program. Moving forward, the BDC will be accepting applications online through our new grant portal, a submittable platform that will simplify the submission process as well as the grant committee's review process. I will walk you through the steps necessary to apply online, but don't worry about committing it to memory. I'm going to email all the attendees this presentation so you can follow the steps at your leisure. There are essentially 7 pre-award steps in the grant life cycle process. Luckily for you, applicants are only responsible for 3 of the 7. You all are rock stars because you've almost completed the first step, which is attending the nuts and bolts info session. The second step is creating your account in the BDC's grant portal, which is easy peasy. Your third and final step is the pre-award process is submitting your application. I'm so excited that we are able to offer this to you. This new application platform will simplify the entire process for both applicants and reviewers. To create your profile in the BDC grant portal, visit burlingtondowntown.submittable.com. You can also find detailed instructions at Submittable's help page, which is submittable.help/submitters. First, go to the organization's website and look for their submissions page. I've pulled up the BDC's page here. You'll be brought to our Submittable page containing our organization's submission categories. Click the Submit button next to the category you wish to submit to, or if you're already within a submission category, scroll down to the Create Your Account. Have an account sign up form. If you already have a submittable account, click the Have an Account. Sign In tab to sign in to your account. If you don't remember your password, use the Forgot link on the login form or go directly to the Forgot Password page. If you don't have a submittable account, create a free account by filling out the Create Your Account form. I'm going to create one for grants at Burlington downtown.com as an example. With a bogus name, Burlington Downtown and Corp as my last name, and sign up. If you choose, you can say that you'd like to personalize your account or you'd like to stay in touch and receive emails. I'm going to bypass those options right now. By clicking the Create the Account and Continue button, will be forwarded onto the BDC submission process. You can now use your account login when submitting to any organization that uses Submittable, not just here at the BDC. Once you've submitted to the BDC, you can check the status of your submission by logging back into your Submittable account. For more information, you can see the Submittable's help article on the submission status. Submittable offers technical help to not only administrators of the Submittable platform, but also to applicants. All you have to do is contact them at support@submittable.com. Before we go into that, I'm going to just walk you through very quickly what the Downtown Facade Improvement Grant application looks like live on the BDC's grant portal. You can see here where we cover the grant overview, the awarding maximums, what eligible improvements are covered under this grant, and how the program works. If you scroll down further, you can see anything that lists a red asterisk is a required field that you need to enter information in. And we ask for very simple information. I've also provided for you a link to the MSD map in case you're in the middle of submitting this application and you're not quite sure where you fall within the boundaries. So you can see here's a map of the MSD. And that way you can answer this question: is it located within the historic district? We'll need your phone number. An alternate phone number is optional, but preferred. If you provide two would be great. Your email address, project description, estimated project costs, and amount of funds requested. You're also given the opportunity to upload some required files. We need photos of the facade prior to the project. We also need any plans or specifications appropriate to the design of the exterior. And we need you to attach at least 2 itemized estimates from 2 contractors for all project work being proposed. Finally, we allow you to attach any other supplemental materials that you think are necessary. And before you can hit submit, you have to check off all of the completion items on the checklist. If you're a tenant in the MSD, we also require that the property owner complete the approval letter. If you provide us their email address, Submittable will automatically forward an email to the property owner requiring and asking them to fill out that approval letter, and then they can upload it back onto this website for us, and nobody has to go through any other pains to get that done. Finally, if you agree to the terms of use, please check that you do and then hit apply. If something takes you away from the application process, you can also save this in draft and submit it at a later time when you're able to review it. I mentioned earlier that Submittable has a help page that shows you how to log in and create an account, and here's that address I was telling you about earlier. So it's really easy. Like I said, it's a really easy platform. It's going to simplify the whole process for all of us. So I've also gone through the Complete Your Application. So we have two different grant programs, like I mentioned before, the Downtown Small Grant Program and the Facade Improvement Program. What we went through previously to seeing this presentation again is the application for the Facade Improvement Program. Beginning on December 15th at midnight, or 12:01 a.m. that morning, the 2019 Downtown Small Grant Program application will become live and open to accept applicants. The due date for submitting your application is January 15th. If you reference back that table of deadlines and important dates that I showed you, given the new quarterly granting cycle, you'll remember that. Again, we're going to send you lots of email reminders, and we will have information on the BDC's calendar, which is on our website, and also on our social media platforms. Finally, there's also a new review process and a new notification process. The new review process includes the BDC Grant Committee reviewing and scoring all eligible applications. I mentioned before that applicants scoring less than 70 will not be considered for funding. However, applications scoring 70 or above will be considered, and funding allocation recommendations from the BDC Granting Committee will be presented to the full BDC board for vote at the board meeting immediately following the due date of your application. The new notification process is that a BDC staff member will notify applicants via email and also by phone if funding was or was not granted. I mentioned before that applications scoring less than 70 would be given an opportunity to revisit, to meet with staff, to rehash and revisit the applicant and application, and project proposal for an opportunity to refresh it and submit it again for second consideration. Finally, there are new post-award requirements, and so let me very quickly brief you on these new procedures. As you know, it's a deferred loan program, but the terms of that loan have changed. In previous years, the deferred program has been a 5-year award. We have shortened the length of that and are now only requiring 3 years to meet the terms and agreements to satisfy that forgivable loan. Additionally, we are going to require some reporting each year that you are within the deferred period. Your payout and reimbursement process will be the same as it has in the past, and finally, the grant closeout process is that simple and easy, and then you will be all in the clear after 3 years. So let's very quickly go through the post-award reporting. As you can see, your project has to be completed within 1 year of the grant award. After the work is completed, you'll submit photos of the completed work through the submittable portal that we just went through. And you'll also submit proof of payment for reimbursement. So once you have a paid invoice, we need that as well as the canceled check or the credit card receipt proving that you paid for those project activities, and the BDC will begin the procedure for requesting reimbursement for those funds, and you should get them within a week of your reimbursement request submission to us. At the end of 1 year, once your project has been finished and in the BDC neighborhood for a year, you're going to have to submit photos to us to show that the project work still remains intact and in the district. Once you've done that, you'll receive notification that 1 of 3 deferred loan years has been considered completed and satisfied in full, and you will no longer be obligated at any point to pay back that third of your forgivable loan in the grant life cycle. At the end of your 2nd year, you're going to submit photos again through Submittable, showing that the work from the project is still intact and in place here in downtown and in the MSD. And again, we're going to send you another notification that 2 of your 3 deferred loan years have been completed and satisfied in full. And you will no longer be obligated at any point to pay the BDC back for those first 2/3, the first 2/3 amount of the grant award amount. And finally, at the end of your 3rd year, you're going to submit photos to prove that the project work is still intact and here in the downtown, just like you did the first 2 years. Submit those photos again through Submittable. And then we were going to give you a letter of congratulations to say you've satisfied the complete terms of the deferred loan and all 3 years of your deferred loan period have been completed. At that time, your loan is going to become a grant, and you have met the grant agreement terms, and you no longer have any obligations, fiduciary obligations to the BDC in regards to this particular award. So congratulations. We've shortened it again. We've truncated that deferred loan timeline by 2 years to make things a little bit easier for everyone in the downtown. I am open to any questions that you have, and I'm sure there are some. So please let me know, what questions do you have for me? For those of you watching this video, rather than physically attending the nuts and bolts session, please feel free to contact grants@burlingtondowntown.com for any questions. Submit them directly to that email address, and someone here on staff will respond as quickly as possible. You also might be able to find information on the downtownburlington.com/grants website, where we have much more information about the Downtown Grant Program and the Facade Improvement Program. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your time, and please do be in touch if you have any questions.